Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Mr. Benji, and I will be your science teacher for this semester. So, for today, I just want you to know first that we are going to do a lot of things in the subject. So, we're going to perform some experiments, and we're going to learn, importantly, the things that we can use in our everyday life, the application of the things that we are going to use in this subject. Are you ready? Let's begin. So for our very first topic, we are going to define the word science. What is really the word, or what really is the word science? So let's study this part. So what is science basically? Science is everywhere. Science is in you. Science is in me. Science is in the things that we see in our surroundings. So science starts when we think, when we try to find an answer to a problem. That is a practice of science. So if we are doing something, we're trying to uh, find things or to figure out how to make our life easier, or how to figure out things that we can use to solve our problems, the daily life problems. So that is the study of science. So those natural things are called natural phenomena. So when you see a baby grows, so that is a natural phenomenon. So the same thing with the butterflies, from pupa turning into a beautiful butterfly. So we do have a lot of natural phenomena around us. Some of them are the following. So the solidification of ice, or the water to turn into ice. So that is natural phenomena. Even the falling of leaves. So that is a natural phenomenon. Even the sky turning into dark to gray. So that is a natural phenomenon in nature. Even the swans, the drinking of water, which turns into this stalagmites. So this is what is going on around us. So they are called natural phenomena. So basically, science is finding the truth or finding knowledge. So that knowledge that we acquire in studying it is what we call scientific knowledge. Now, this scientific knowledge, the idea, the things that we have learned, we will use that one to create something, and that is what we call technology. So technology is the product of science. So when we think, we acquire scientific knowledge, and we use the scientific knowledge to create something. So we create technology. So for example, if you want to go to the moon, so people have this have tried to find ways or to make a spaceship or something that they can ride on to go there. So they made a spaceship. So that is the product of science, which we call technology. So the difference is science is an idea, while technology is the product of that idea. So now, what are the importance of science? Why do we study science? Why do we need it? First, it helps us to understand ourselves. So if there's something which is, we do have pain in our body, there's a problem in our body. So by studying science, we were able, the doctors, some experts, they were able to find medicine. They were able to find ways to solve this problem. Like the situation that we are into right now. COVID-19 vaccines would not be possible if without the idea of finding solution to it. So because of science, we found vaccines, we found ways to survive. It also helps to understand our environment. So because of science, we will have the idea how to find ways that we can support the environment, that we can continuously live in the environment or the place that we live in and using all the resources that we have. So we use science in it. It makes our life more comfortable. So everything that you see around your house, all those things, appliances, equipments, we use them daily and they help us a lot. They make our life easier. And most of all, they make things faster, work faster. So the thing is, science is very important because without science, we will not be able to do or to create things like those. So those are some of the importance of science. It helps us to understand ourselves. It helps us to understand our environment, and it makes our life more comfortable. So we also have so many application of science in different fields, like in our homes. In our homes, we do have so many appliances, like the refrigerator, which is open here in the picture. So the faucet, top, all those things were product of science. So these things are very important to us because we use them to make our life comfortable. Even in construction, for people to build buildings, to create these things, tall buildings such as this, they need some equipment. And this equipment were product of science. And because of science, we were able to do things faster. Because before, it used to be a long time process to build a building. But because of science, of the advancement of science, we were able to create buildings in just months, even in few days. Also, science is very important in communication. How do you talk to your friends? Sometimes you call your friends on phone, and we need the internet for that. We also need our mobile phones. Because of science, we were able to connect to so many people in the fastest possible time. So this is the good thing about studying and making science advance or making things to make it advance. So it is very important in our daily life. Also, every day when you go to school, so you need to take the MRT or the BTS. So in transportation, science is very important. Because of science, we were able to create high-speed train, and we were able to create vehicles that would carry us from one place to another. And also, science is very important in medicine. These doctors, without the knowledge of anything, they will not be able to operate or to perform surgeries without the help of science. Because of the scientific knowledge they have, they were able to do things for others. And it is very important that we know that these people had to study a lot. And that is why we study science. Also, in agriculture, the food on our table, the things that we eat, those are from this area. So in agriculture, people, we were able to build machineries. So, and also to find solutions to soil problem, to create or to produce fertilizers that would increase the crops, the amount of crops being harvested. So it is very important in every aspect. So all the things that we see, all the areas in our lives are affected of science. So in homes, construction, communication, transportation, medicine, agriculture, science is very, very important. So these are the careers or the specialization that you can have if you want to pursue more of your studies of science. So we do have here doctors. Okay, of course, if you really want to become a doctor, So as what I've said, you have to study a lot. So you need to study more, a deep study about science. If you want to become an architect needs to be exact with their measurement. So science is accurate. It pursues accuracy. It really wants to be perfect in everything so that it can create a very effective way of doing things. Also, you can be an engineer to build those buildings. So if you want to do those things and you want to practice it, you really need to study and have full knowledge about science. Also, if you want to become a pharmacist, so for you to have a great idea, great knowledge about the medicine that you are going to give to your customers, so you need to study more about it, the chemicals, the compounds, and everything needed for you to successfully serve your customers. Also, it is very important to study science, and if you want to become a chemist someday, so studying those chemicals, their reactions, and everything, their uses, and how they can affect our lives. So this area is very much for you. So if you want to become a chemist, you need to study more and focus more on the chemicals. And if you want to be a doctor for animals. So you can be a vet, a veterinarian. So veterinarian has to study a lot also. They have to understand the nature of the pets that we have, the dogs, the cats, so that they can easily do things and perform things on them that they can help them when they are in need. So these are some of the careers or paths that you can take if you want to advance your knowledge on science. So if you want to study more about this, so if you want to become a doctor, architect, engineer, pharmacist, chemist, veterinarian, these are areas of studies that you really want or careers in life that you really need to have a wide knowledge, scientific knowledge. So you really need to study more about science. So science is everywhere. So there are so many studies or so many aspects or areas in science. So here, science is divided into a number of areas of study, namely biology, physics, chemistry, astronomy, biochemistry, meteorology, and geology. Biology is the study of life, while physics is the study of matter, energy, force, and motion, while chemistry is the study of the composition and chemical properties of substances. Anatomy, the study of planets and stars in the universe. So if you want to study rocks, minerals, and the structure of the earth, so that is for geology. Meteorology is the study of weather and climate. The typhoon, hurricane, and tornadoes, those are things studied in meteorology. So if you want to study chemical processes in living organisms, so that is biochemistry. So these are some areas of studies in science. So that's the end of the lesson. I hope you learned something. To test if you learned really something from those things. So I want you to answer the questions below. So Q1, the question number one, what is the difference between science and technology? What did I say about it? Science is what and technology is what. But the thing is, science and technology are related. So it gives you the idea how to define them. So question number two, we have here, give one benefit. What can we get from it? One benefit of science in the following areas, or what is the application of science in medicine? Sorry for that. Or transportation. What is the use of science for these areas? Question number 3, state the field of science related to the following. So A, discovering a cure for cancer. So who is the person responsible for this? Studying the behavior of animals. So what are those people doing this? Forecasting natural disasters such as floods and tornadoes. Why are those people doing them? And discovering new comets. So these are things that we can apply science on. So you can go back to the areas of studies in science and you can use those ideas to answer this problem. And number 4, we have list 3 carriers that deal with human health. That means to say, who are those people responsible in making us healthy? So you have to list down the name of the professions or the jobs of those people. So 3 carriers that deal with human health. Now for this topic, we are going to learn about science apparatuses in the science laboratory. So this is a science laboratory wherein we perform experiments. So here we can find laboratory equipment such as glass rod. This is for stirring. We have beaker, so to store more liquid. Spatula, we use this one to scoop chemicals, dry chemicals. Syringe, we have the plunger, the dropper. We have also the burette and or the burette, and we have the clamp, stand, retort. This one is pipette or pipette. We have the pestle, mortar, evaporating dish. We use this one to um, let the liquid evaporate and to get something. Like for example, if you want to get only the salt from salt water, you can use this one. The water will be evaporated and what will be remaining is the salt, the substance. Okay, petri dish. We have the tongs. We need tongs so that we can hold, we can use this one to hold test tubes to when we are heating them, or we are heating something. We have also this one, the crucible, the magnet. This is what we call the test tube rack. This is funnel, the funnel, and the filter paper. We use them to filter something. For example, we want to separate liquid and solid things, so we can use this one. We also have the test tube stopper. The stopper is used so that we can keep the chemicals well. So we have also, this is what we call the Bunsen burner. Bunsen burner, okay, we need a tripod for that, and then the gauze mat so that we can place whatever we can put here, like the flask, like the beaker. So those are some of the things that we will see in the laboratory, science laboratory. So these are what we call laboratory equipment, or sometimes you can call them apparatuses. So some rules and safety precautions in the laboratory. So what should we do? So some rules and safety precautions. These are the things that we have to keep in mind when we are inside the laboratory. So number 1, never enter the laboratory unless a teacher is present. It's very important that there is a presence of a teacher. So you cannot go there without the presence of a teacher because some chemicals are dangerous for you. Number 2, our letter B, do not eat, drink, or taste any chemicals. So it's a big no to eat, to taste it, or to drink it. So chemicals are dangerous for your health, so you cannot taste them. Letter C, always follow the teacher's instructions. Try to look at these. Okay, so the students are very keen to listen to the teacher. So you should be very careful in listening to your teacher so that you can follow instructions well. So letter D, never touch chemicals with your bare hands. Use a spatula. Okay, it's the same thing. We cannot taste, we cannot eat them. And of course, most of the time, don't touch them because there are chemicals that are corrosive that can affect your hand. So here, try to look at this one. So we needed, he needed, should I say, a spatula for this. And read the label under a reagent bottle before using its content. So we need these bottles and those things, labels here, the things, precautionary measure, things that we have to remember so that we can use them properly. So we need to read them first before using them. Letter F. Turn off the Bunsen burner after use. It's very important to turn off the Bunsen burner. Okay, we don't want to burn the laboratory, right? So therefore, we have to turn it off. So you have to close the air hole and let it die out. Do not pour back any unused chemical into its bottom. It's a big no. Okay, whatever you use already, do not pour it back to its original bottle. Why? Because chemicals are highly reactive. Sometimes there are chemicals that would react. So sometimes it would create explosion. So we don't want that one to happen. Do not throw solid waste into the sink. It's very, very important that when we wash something, the solid waste, things that we use, or even liquid, the things that we use in the laboratory, we should not throw them in the sink. And next, wash and keep all apparatus after use. So whenever you use the laboratory, you should clean everything that you use to in performing the experiment. Next one, it's very important. Do not run or play in the laboratory. Laboratory is not intended for playing. So you can do the playing outside, but no, not inside the laboratory. Letter K, do not test anything without the teacher's permission. So everything that you see, maybe you are very curious about them, but you have to wait for your teacher's permission before you use them. It's very important because it could be this one as a result. This one could happen. Report any breakages to the teacher. See this one? This could be the result of negligence of the students who did not ask permission from the teacher. So if you see one, you have to tell the teacher immediately so that the teacher will tell you what to do and will help you. And last one, we have to keep the bench clean and tidy. So what is the bench? So this is the bench. This is where we perform or we place the equipment, the things, the apparatus that we use for experiments. So we have to keep that one clean. So now I want you to listen carefully how to use the Bunsen burner properly. So please listen. This is a very short video. Please listen to this one.
The Bunsen burner is a great way of heating up substances in a controlled way, but it must be used with care. A handy way of remembering how to light a Bunsen burner safely is set a light. Let's see what this means. S is for safety, which always comes first. Make sure you're wearing a lab coat and safety glasses. Tie back long hair and clear your bench of anything that's flammable, meaning that it could catch on fire. E is for edge. Place the burner on a heat-proof mat a safe distance from the edge of the bench. T is for tube. Check that the rubber tube is free of cracks. Connect the tube firmly to the gas tap. Make sure the tap is in the off position. Remember, the off position makes an L shape. A is for air hole. The air hole is located at the bottom of the barrel, near the base. It can be opened or closed by turning a metal ring called the collar. This controls the amount of air and oxygen that mixes with the gas. The more oxygen, the hotter the flame. Always make sure that the air hole is closed before lighting the burner. Okay, you're ready to light the match and hold it above the barrel. Finally, you can turn on the gas. It's important to light the match first to avoid releasing dangerous gas into the air. You should always follow these 6 steps when lighting the Bunsen burner. Now you've successfully lit the Bunsen burner, you should begin with a bright yellow flame. This is called the safety flame because it's easy to see and isn't as hot as the full flame. To get a hotter flame, we need to mix in more air. To do this, turn the collar to open the air hole. You will now have a blue flame with a bright blue inner core. The hottest part of the blue flame is here at the tip of the cone. There are 3 more safety rules for using the Bunsen burner while it's lit. If you need to move the burner, hold it by the base. Don't touch it any higher than the collar. Never leave a lit Bunsen burner unattended. And if anything goes wrong, turn off the gas tap immediately. Okay, so you've finished your experiment. Before turning off the Bunsen burner, close the air hole first to return to the safety flame. Now you can turn off the tap and blow out any small flame that remains. Disconnect the hose and leave the Bunsen burner to cool before packing it away.
Okay, so I hope it helps you to understand how to use this equipment properly. So this is the Bunsen burner. We will use that one in our experiments and performing some of the experiments in our class. So it's very important to know how to use it properly. So there are things that we have to be careful of. So many things in the laboratory has these labels, or the things that we see, the symbols that we see at the label. So we have this corrosive, explosive, radioactive, toxic or poisonous, flammable or inflammable, irritant or harmful. Corrosive can affect our hands. It's very important to know. If you see this one, so you have to keep your hands protected. So whenever it happens, so whatever area of your body which got, let's go back to that one, which got connected or exposed to it, so you better to wash it immediately with running water. Explosive. So there are chemicals that we cannot put near water or any water. So we should be careful when we put them. So like this, we should put this away from water. Radioactive. So these chemicals can create radioactive effect on our bodies. So better to be careful when handling them. So here, as you can see, we should keep them properly in this special container, tightly, and a special container were created so that the radioactivity from these chemicals will not go through this container. So we have a special container for them. This one, the symbol is toxic or poisonous. So like, for example, the silver. Silver is very poisonous. So when you inhale it, it's fatal to your health. It's fatal to you. So we should be careful when handling them. So for us to carefully handle them or store them, so we need to put them back into into the cupboard or the place that they should be. They could be properly stored. The flammable or inflammable, these are things that can easily catch fire. Like ethanol. Ethanol is highly flammable. So therefore, you should be aware that this one should not be any closer to the Bunsen burner. So you have to make this one, place this one very far away from any fire or any source of fire. Irritant or harmful. Like this. Whenever you get in contact with these chemicals, better to wash your hands immediately. And we use the running water to do it. So again, we have corrosive, we have explosive, radioactive, toxic or poisonous, flammable or inflammable, irritant, or harmful. So it's very important to remember those things because like this one, explosives, they can easily explode when mixed with other substances. So we should be very careful when handling them. And of course, we also have things which are flammable in the laboratory. So these things easily catches fire and burns. So we should be careful with them. And if you see the symbol, this is toxic or poisonous. It causes death or harm to the body if absorbed through the skin, swallowed, or inhaled. So we should be careful when handling things or substances with this sign or symbol. And also for corrosive materials, it causes damage to the skin or eyes upon contact. That's why it's very important that if happens, you should wash that specific body of your part of your body so that you can remove the chemicals that you were in contact with. So here, the symbol that you can see, flammable and inflammable, and we have also the irritant or harmful materials, so be careful with them. So they can irritate and cause itchiness and rashes to the skin, to the eyes, and even to your respiratory tract or system. And of course, this is very important. Be aware that this one radioactive materials, you should be very careful with them and because this one gives out radiation that can cause cancer or destroy bodily tissues. So you should be very careful when handling substances and you should read the reagent bottle if they contain these symbols or signs. Now we are ready now to answer the following. So I want you to go back to the part, the part of the video that we discussed these things. So you can go back to it. And when answering this one, I want you to really think over and over again and to analyze what do they really mean. So for example, help you to understand it more. I will explain it to you. For example, for Q1, name the apparatus that can be used to do the following. So what is the apparatus? So you can go back to the part wherein we study the equipment, laboratory equipment. So measure 20 cubic centimeters of dilute acid. So a very small amount of liquid, right? So what are we going to use to measure it? So cubic centimeter, it's the same as milliliter. So evaporate a little salt solution. So what can we use? That's what I've said. We do have this equipment wherein we can put and pour the salt solution in it and let the water evaporate. So separate a mixture of chalk powder and water. So what can we use to separate that? Letter D, heat 2 cubic centimeter of water in a test tube. Now remember, this one is a very small amount, so we need a very small equipment too. Okay, letter E, hold the beaker or water during heating. So what did I say? What can we use to hold the test tube while heating them or heating the chemicals inside them? Number 2, explain why you should not pour any unused chemical into its bottom. Why? So remember those signs, symbols that we use. So those are some of the things that could happen when we pour back the unused chemical into their bottles. Next, briefly describe the correct way to light up a Bunsen burner. So go back to that video, that demonstration video, so that you can be guided with your answer. Okay, so for number 4, a bottle of hydrochloric acid has the following symbol on it. The symbol, what does it mean? What does the symbol mean? What will happen if the acid spills on your hand? So what would happen to your hand? And C, what should you do if the acid spills on your hand? So what is the very first thing that you should do when you get in contact or accidentally the acid spills on your hand? Okay, thank you so much for listening. So that's the end of our lesson for science. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you cannot get it for the first time, you can go back, you can replay the video over and over again for you to be guided. Thank you. See you again next time. Bye.